Oh, well, hello there, you beautiful, wonderful, incredible, amazing, intelligent human being. I'm Andrea Dawn, and today we are here discussing more yoga asana. And remember that yoga asana is the physical practice of yoga. This physical practice is the gateway to achieving the goal of yoga, which is chitta vritti nirodha, or stilling the thought waves, or the motion or the movements in the mind space. And to do that, we need to purify and we need to have a practice of tapas or discipline that helps us to access one pointed focus. And when we cultivate that discipline of one pointed focus, we get closer and closer to that goal of stilling the thought waves in the mind space. Anyway, back to our asana practice. Today we're taking a look at Apanasana. And what I want to encourage is the use of the Sanskrit in the yoga postures names. So sometimes we just say the English translation. And that can be helpful in classes as well, so it doesn't push away people from the practice itself, and sometimes the Sanskrit can feel intimidating, but we also want to make sure that we're recognizing the Sanskrit because it gives us so much information, and especially in a posture like this one, where we don't find it so much in the ancient texts, yet we see it in practices that are centuries old. So we don't really have like an old story or something that gives us this deeper meaning behind the posture. But when we look at the Sanskrit, Apanasana, apan, we see in that, which when we take a look at the vayus or the subtle energy or the subtle prana in our body, we know that apana is our down and outward moving subtle energy. And I have a whole nother video on the vayus, what they are, and specifically on apana vayu. So you can go check that out if you want to learn more. But when we recognize this Sanskrit apana, we can understand a deeper meaning of the posture Apanasana. So what is it for? It helps us release and move energy in the down and outward direction, which can help you set a better intention as you're practicing the posture. So while we're still thinking, right, because we're creating intention behind these postures, it's still helpful in the direction of your thinking. You're still training your mind in what you are choosing to think about versus just going off thinking about this and that. So let's find out a little bit more about Apanasana. And remember, I repeat a lot in these writings because repetition is just helpful for our memory. Each posture in the physical yoga practice has a Sanskrit name ending in asana. Asana means seat or posture, and today we will explore Apanasana, also known as knees to chest pose. When we break down the Sanskrit, we see apana, which is downward flowing life force, and asana, which is seat or posture. An English translation of downward flowing energy pose. The pose might be known to some as wind relieving pose, of which the Sanskrit would be pawanmuktasana. That was all new to me. I didn't know that Sanskrit definition of this posture. The origin of this posture is unclear, however, it can be found in practices dating back many centuries. And this posture is restorative in nature and is practiced towards, usually, the beginning or the end of a practice. This brings us to the why behind Apanasana or knees to chest pose. Each posture has potential benefits that are, of course, physical in nature, both internally and externally, and also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Yet it is important to note that not all of these are true for everyone and are also dependent upon the time, consistency, and sincerity of practice. This posture primarily stretches the muscles of the lower back and the hips, as well as places pressure on the abdomen. Now, this pressure results in a massaging of the digestive and reproductive organs and increases blood flow and circulation to the area. Sometimes this pressure can also alleviate excess gas, hence the name wind relieving pose. Apanasana has potential for symbolic, metaphoric, and meaningful significance to our own personal whys. Even though we don't have reference to it in any of the ancient texts, we can very simply draw upon the name Apanasana to connect it with apana vayu, or the down and outward moving prana. Where in your life do you feel blocked or stuck? What needs to be excreted or moved out of your mind and heart? And can this physical shape and intention be of aid in stirring that movement towards the momentum needed to release it? Another way to experience this posture might be to recognize it as a hug from you. When you bind your arms around your legs, would it be supportive to relax into the feeling of being held by a loved one? In this case, you. Can you let go or let yourself be and simply be held by your strong arms and the great stability of the Mother Earth beneath you? The removal of trying might be just the encouragement your body needs to release some stored emotions that are causing you stress, anxiety, or feelings of dis-ease. Realize the rest that is possible even in our physical asana practice, perhaps by recalling the Beatles lyrics in Let It Be, and when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Let yourself, and maybe, just maybe, let yourself be, and maybe, just maybe, you will feel not only the light that shines on you, but the light that shines from within you. And so even though it's part of our physical moving practice, many postures gift us the practice of stillness, of ease, of relaxation, and the benefits that come from that. Because for many of us, our life is move, 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 go, 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 go. So let's take a moment and demo this posture and some variations. As always, when you come into the posture, feel what you feel. So yes, we've heard what the posture highlights, being our low back, our hips, the pressure on our abdomen. And also it's important that rather than just taking that, you feel what you feel. You might feel it somewhere different, right? Because when you pull your knees into the chest, you might start to feel it in your arms, in your chest, in your lats, right? So it might be helpful to start this posture very slowly by lying on the back, drawing one knee in, maybe taking a few circles, drawing the other knee in, taking a few circles, and then drawing both knees in. Now for some of us, this might be plenty of pressure. Hands on the tops of the knees, drawing the knees in on top of the belly. For some of us, this might be too much pressure, in which case you can let the knees fall away or spread them a little bit wider so your belly has more space. For some of us, this might not be quite enough, which you can wrap your arms and hold on to opposite elbows, right? And that's where I talked about that hug when I was reading. And we might sit and feel the embrace of ourself and the stability of the earth beneath us. So it's nice to find stillness in this posture, but you might also find movement in this posture. So there might be a nice rocking from back and forth. Or you could work the forward and back movement by pressing the knees into the held hands. And here you might press the chin down towards the chest, maybe feel some traction in the spine, and then draw the knees in. And as you do that, lift the chin up towards the sky. And then begin to link that with breath and movement. For most postures, we have the opportunity to relax in stillness or to find the flow in movement. And sometimes that helps with the alignment of breath and the recognizing of the breath. Another way sometimes I practice this posture, and this gives it a whole nother dimension, is to cross one knee over the other in this deep cross. And then draw that towards my belly and spread the legs away from me. So now it adds a little bit more of an outer hip stretch, but you still get the pressure on the abdomen. Again, many other variations I'm sure that you could come up with. Those are just a few. Give it a try. And as you're in that posture, remember Apanasana, or that down and outward moving energy. You could also lie in the posture without using the arms and there's a mudra that goes along with this, Apanasana. And remember, mudras are simply ways, or asta mudras are ways we place our hands. Excuse me. You could take the thumb and connect it to the middle and the ring finger for Apana Mudra. So much information. You might need to watch this a few times, and always take the authority to make it your own, to feel what you feel, and to set the intention behind that. It's always such a blessing and an honor to have your attention and to walk this journey of yoga with you. My heart sees and feels and smiles to yours. Namaste, yogis.